Alrighty, welcome to another exciting tutorial series in the UE4, Unreal Engine 4. This is a continuing series that I do from time to time, sometimes based off requests, sometimes because I find out new things and I want to share it with the community. In this particular one, we're going to do a loading screen. I've had a few requests for it, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. It's fairly simple. It's not a hard process. I've already got one set up here, and I've been toying with it to get it working right. And all it is it loads up. You get your title of your game. You get a couple of buttons. In this case, we only have one because it's just for a loading screen. Click it. It flips over to the loading screen. In this particular case, it's 30 seconds before it'll kick over and load the game. But actually, it might be 15 now. I don't remember. But it'll kick off. It's got a little spinning doohickey down here. And then, as you can see, it froze. It locked up. It did not actually lock up, though. It went straight into opening of the level at the end of the loading screen. Okay? So, this is what we're going to do. We are going to create this little loading screen window here. And as you can see, bam, there I am. I'm inside of my game. Okay. Now, first thing we need to do is we're going to go into our tutorial one, because that is the one I've been playing. So we're going to go in here, and last time we made this video, we made an experience bar, a level counter to go with the experience bar. Ignore the graphics on it. It was kind of just a quick, how-to video. I've never gone back and really fixed the graphics on it, though I just might if I continue with this series any further. But at the moment, all we do is we start into this, and that's that. We don't really go any further. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go up here to File, New Level. We want to go with a blank level, because all we want is this black screen. Alright. I'm going to drag my content browser over here, because, we need it. So I'm going to slide it on down here. It is a separate window that I keep on my other screen, so just bear with the fact that it kind of overlays right now. But you want to go into your content browser, go to your main folder. Now, I like keeping all of my stuff kind of neat and nice, so I'm going to make me a folder called Widgets. Now, inside this folder, I'm going to make another one. I'm going to call it Menus, because you have other widgets, interface widgets that control like your the HUD, vendor windows, your character windows for like the RPG style games. Things like that, and then you have your menus, your pause menu, your loading screens, your main menus, your quitting the game, saving the game, what slot to choose to save it into, stuff like that, and those would all go in the separate folder from that one. So yeah, I was in the menus folder. So we have our menus folder. So we're going to double click into that, and we're going to come down here to User Interface and Widget Blueprint. Click on that. You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name mine Main Menu. And then I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to call this one Loading Screen. Because that's what it is. It's a loading screen. I mean, hey. Okay. Now, we're going to go up into the Main Menu one, and we're going to make this real fast. Okay. Let's give it a name. We're going to name this Tutorial Series 412 because I am using Unreal Engine 4.12. It's the version I am using. I can't say that today. Let's go with a 48 on its size, and let's go bigger than that just because I want to. Go 96. All right. Now, if you want to kind of center this up more, you can say here, and you can do all kinds of math based on its size. Like, let's say 1125, 160, just to round it to even numbers. And then you can say here, and you can play with it, and you can bounce it around. But if you look at this nice little doohickey we have right here, this is what's called an anchor. Okay, this position X and position Y are based off of where this anchor right here is positioned. So if we click on our anchors, and we can change it to anything we want to. Right? I'm going to change it to, well, no, not the center, but the center top. Okay? That way, wherever this is placed, based off of this being my center, the center of my screen. And you can see that my position X is updated for it. So what is half of 1125? Well, half of 1,000 is 5. Half of 125 is, well, let's see, I can't do math today apparently. So we're going to just divide this. Awesome. So we're going to type in here negative 560, 562.5, and you'll notice it shifts over. The diamonds for the center of our text field are in the center there. It goes based off of this corner right here. So wherever you want that corner to be, so it's centered to your screen. So that's just kind of a quick little thing with that. Now we need to make a button. So I'm going to drag in a button. We'll make this button size 600 by 100. I'm going to do the same to it. I'm going to put it in the center. Okay. Now, with buttons, it's going to stay like this. It's just a gray button. Now, you saw in my video that I showed you what we were going to be doing, that I had a texture in there. Okay. This is where you put in your texture. You come to appearance and style. You've got normal, hover, pressed. Okay. Let's go ahead and open each one of those. Now, I don't have any textures that I can put in there. Actually, you know what? I might. Hold on a sec. Let's see. Tutorials. Well, let me minimize that so I can get the content browser up here. And I'm going to drag in. Go ahead and drag in this. Okay. I didn't want all of them. Now these are piece that I made in Photoshop. I made it for my other game that I worked on while I was in school. All it is just simply a Photoshop PNG file with the background taken out, so that it's whenever I put it on, it's clear behind it. Okay. So now we can take that. Minimize this a second, and we can apply it to that. So what we can do with that is we can do this one of two ways. We can either drag it over and drop it, or you can just click on this window here. You see NG standard and drop it in there. Now do that to the same to each one of these. Okay. Now if you wanted to say like okay, when I click on new game, it does it goes green or something. When I hover over it, it goes blue or whatever the case may be. That you can do that kind of stuff. Okay. You could change the image itself, or you could go down here to tint, and you can change it. Raise up the red a little, raise up the blue, raise the green. Just whatever, just to show it. Okay. So now I can minimize that, increase that thing size again. So now that we have this, okay, we got to get this button working. Okay. So you notice here it's button _ 65, but we can scroll all the way on down here and we have this nice little events thing. Now, if you were in 4.6, 4.5, probably previous earlier ones than that as well, I want to say this will still work because the original title menu I made was in 4.6 and 4.7.1, and it all worked the same as well. So just kind of toy with it and see. But you won't have this right here. You'll actually have a drop-down menu you have to click on and find which one of these you want. In this case, the event I want is on clicked. So we're going to click on clicked. We'll go into our graph, and it'll give us this on clicked parentheses button _ 65 parentheses. All right. Now what that's going to mean, we don't need this in the text, so I'm going to delete it. So what that means is whenever we push that button, whatever we attach to this execution node right here, that's what's going to happen. So the first thing we need to do is we actually need to remove from parent, because we don't want the loading screen showing up with the main menu still on. So we want to take off the main menu, and then we want to put in the loading screen. So we go create widget, we get user interface, create widget, should look something like this. Okay. For class, you want to click on it and select loading screen. For owning player, you drag off, you get player controller. Alright. That is the only thing you will ever connect to a widget. Okay. And then we want to add it to the viewport. Now, this is where a lot of people, I'm going to go ahead and file and save real quick. This is where a lot of people have problems with loading screens and stuff like that. And they try to tie the loading screen and like what they want done after the loading screen into this, into the main menu. And I've tried that. It doesn't work. It just locks up and it does nothing. So I took and I split them. So once we load the loading screen, that gives all control to the loading screen widget. It takes it away from the main menu widget. Alright, so everything we're going to do with the loading screen, we need to do in the loading screen widget. So we are actually done with the main menu widget. So we can close that out. Now, we need to take, and where's my content browser? There it is. Okay, we need to take and open up our loading screen. Okay. And now, it doesn't have to be nothing fancy. You can just drag this out here. You can make it to 105. Make it say loading screen. Fight with it for a little while. Remember, you can center it on the screen, you know, using the anchors and stuff. For this, I'm not going to do that. I don't really care. Then you can come over here, and under primitive, we have circular throbber. Okay. What that is exactly what it says. It is a circular series of dots that spins. Now, if it's going too fast, using the period under appearance here, using period, if you adjust that value, you will notice how it slows down. So the higher the value, the slower it goes. So you could, in essence, do, you know, really low. You can also change how many dots there are. So let's say there's 50. So see, now you got more streamline. Let's say 100. Apparently you can't go 100 because it's not big enough. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, if you go bigger than this, let's see, if I go 500, 500. Let me see if I can get more dots now. Nope, so the max is 25, apparently. Awesome. Set that back down to 100 where I want it. Whoops. Now, one thing I will tell you right now is that if you look over here under your slot, your canvas panel slot, you'll see a thing on the bottom of it called Z order. Excuse me, I just woke up not too long ago. And that buzzing sound in the background is my AC, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering. When it's set to 0, it is on, think of it like you're looking at a book, okay? 0 would be the back cover, alright? And then 1's the page on top of that, 2's the page on top of that, so on and so forth. So if you want to put an image as the background on your loading screen, you need to make sure that your Z order on both of these is set to 1. What that's going to do is when you put in an image, like here, I'll show you. We can just drop an image right here so I can make it bigger. Okay. Oh, of course it would do that. Okay, there we go. And as you notice, I can click off of that, and I can still select the loading screen over top of it. Now, if I change that back to a 0, notice how the block goes over top of it, because it's put in kind of like a stacking order. So the block is on 0, and so is the text, but the text was placed before the block. So the block is placed over top of the text. So if we keep our Z order of 1, that keeps our loading screen above whatever image you want to have behind it and all. But I don't want an image for this video, so I'm going to delete that out. Now, inside of our graph, we're going to get rid of event tick. Again, the thing, if you're using 4.6, you don't have these already pre-created event executions, so we'll just delete that out so we can do this from scratch. So you want to look for event construct and then bring it in. Alright, now what this is going to do is as soon as our main menu calls to this widget and creates this widget, it is now given control of what's happening to this widget. So now we need to tell it what we're going to do. So the first thing we want to do is we want to put in a delay. Now the reason we're putting in a delay is we want the loading of the game to take a certain amount of time. That way, you know, we seem like we're traditionally leveling, or not leveling, but loading. So I'm going to go, let's say 15 seconds, because 30 seemed a little long when I did it my test run. And then from there, we're going to open a level, okay? And then after that, we remove from parent. Okay. Now what this is going to do is it's going to count. As soon as it's loaded, it's going to count to 15. Now this is in seconds. So it's going to count 15 seconds. Then it's going to load a level, which I will give a name to in a second, and then it's going to remove from parent. Alright? Now, I need a level name. So we're going to go into content. Let's see, maps. First person example map is what it's called. Okay. So now I need to take in the level name field and I need to type in first person example map. Now, compile, save, and let's play. Okay. Now, you'll notice nothing's on the screen. Well, I already know why, so that's a good thing. But, can you figure it out? Maybe, maybe not. If you've watched enough of these videos, you know, because I have done series on stuff like this before. We got to go into the actual level, okay? The level blueprint itself. Now, what you get there is you see blueprints. Click on the arrow, open level blueprint. Okay? So in the level blueprint, we have to do a few things. First thing we need to do is we need to set the game paused. The reason I do this is because for some reason when you're doing things like this, it tries to play the game that's behind you or that's in the game, so you start hearing all of the game sounds, and like you can fire weapons and move around and do all kinds of weird things. And considering we have nothing going on this, like no objects or anything like that for us to stand on or anything, we're just going to automatically fall to our death. The game would restart. It would cause an issue. So we're just going to set it paused. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create widget. We're going to get player controller, and we're going to set the class to main menu. Okay. Drag off of the return value and add to viewport. Now this will put the widget onto the main screen, but we still won't have any control over it, and we won't have a cursor. So now I'm going to drag off of that, and I'm going to go set show cursor. Now for some reason, sometimes you have to take off context sensitive, sometimes you don't. In this particular case I do, and I need to connect, oh that's why. If you drag off of get player controller and you type set show, you'll get set show cursor even with okay, maybe not. Why not? Interesting. But you can just turn it off and then find it. It's no big deal. Then you're going to connect the get player controller to the target for that, because it's got to know what does who are you showing the cursor controls to, like the cursor, and you're showing it to the player so the player can use it. Okay. Next thing we need to do is we need to set the input mode of the game. Now, there's three different inputs. There's game and UI, game only, and UI only. For the main menu, we're going to set UI only. In your first-person shooters where you don't interact with the menu or with the interface bar or anything like that, you would just select game only. Well, more so in RPGs. In first-person shooters, you would, like if you've got to switch weapons or you've got to click on the health potion. Sorry about that. Wow. Stuff like that. Then you would use game and UI. That way you could not only play the game, but you could also use the UI interface that you're going for. But again, in this case, we only need UI only. We're going to connect widget and focus is going to be the main menu, and the player controller is going to be the target, because it's the player that we want to have the input mode changed on. Okay, so now we can compile. We can Control S to save it. I want to save it as titled, and now we hit play. Okay, hold on. There we go. Now, you'll notice we still have the cursor. That's no big deal. I can show you how to get rid of that and all. Now, you see when I'm mousing over it, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. When I click on it, nothing happened. But we do click on it, loading screen comes up. We see our little circular throbber here. It's spinning. Okay, which means it's loading the game. And then when it stops, it loads the actual game, the actual level itself. Now, you'll notice we have no control over what's going on. The reason for that is this. Okay? We need to close out that, because none of this is going to be needed anymore. So we click on File, we go to Open Level. We open up that example map. Okay? As soon as we go to Open Level Blueprint, as soon as the thing is loaded, okay, it's on the Event Begin Play node before the HUD's created. Okay, we need to set input mode game only, and target is controller. Okay. Now what that does is as soon as we load the game, we're given control of it. Okay. And that's what we want. We want to have control of the game once we start it. Alright. So now we can close out of that. Let's go back to our title menu real quick, just to make sure that this took effect. Yes, save it. Now we hit play, we hit new game, we get our loading screen. It counts down 15 seconds. There it is, it stopped, and now as you can see, we now have control of the game. So that is how you do a loading screen. Now, there are other things you can do with loading screens. Put a progress bar in there and have that progress bar linked to the time frame. So instead of like a circular throbber, you can have it linked to the loading of the level. So like you could take, and if you know the max size of the file, and you could start from the beginning of it and work it up. You could probably do something like that, but I'm not 100% sure how. If I figure it out, I will definitely make a video on that. But as for the loading screen, that is how I do my loading screens. So it helps, and it shows a simple way of doing it. You could also, one other thing real quick, when you're, where's my content browser? Okay, when you're looking at it and you're setting things up, okay, if you are like in depth in a game and you've got the ability to save and load new game or just load from previous levels or stuff like that, you're going to have to be able to have your loading screen accommodate for that. So what you're going to want to do is create some variables. You're going to want to take those variables and you want to create them in the main menu. Okay, you're going to want those variables to carry over to your loading screen so that you can call them, such as new game, load game. Those are usually the only two you need. Okay, you don't even need load game. You only need one, new game. Is it true? If yes, you load the first level of the game. Is it false? Well, if it is false, because you're loading a level, then you need to tell it what to do with a branch. If it's false, go to this file and get my level name out. Take it to my level. If it's not, then if it's true, just like this right here, level name, and then put level 1, or Billy Bob jumps off cliff, whatever you have your thing leveled as or labeled as is what you would put in here. Okay. Well, thank you for staying tuned with me for this video. I will be having some new ones coming out later. I don't know about if later today or next week. I am trying to get back into doing a video each week, so we'll see how that works. Thank you.